All right, guys, welcome in another edition of Right on Rangers. Tough game tonight for our Rangers. They lose to the Astros 3-1 tonight. Tough game. Really not much going on for the Rangers bats at all today. There were so many 1, 2, 3 innings. It felt like I'll count them up for you once we get a little bit deeper into it. But tough one today. It was nice to make sure that we got the split last night. We'll go for the series win once again, our second shot at it tomorrow. Of course, that game, I believe, is a 7:05 Texas time start. So we will look to close out the series with the Astros on a good note on Monday night, tomorrow night. So let's kind of get right into it here. I'm just going to go inning by inning as I usually do, kind of look at the box score review as well. And we'll take a look at some notable things, what went wrong for the Rangers tonight, what went right for the Rangers tonight. There were, I think, some bright spots worth talking about. So welcome in, everybody. Let's go ahead and begin. So first inning, Rangers went 1-2-3, and I talked about this just a little bit ago, but Rangers had a number of 1-2-3 innings. First inning was 1-2-3, third inning, fourth inning, seventh inning, eighth inning. So it's about 5 different innings. 1, 2, 3, and anytime that's happening, you know it's not your night. And obviously, Blanco pitched very, very well. He continued his no-hit streak for about 14 total innings. Garcia, in the 6th inning, finally ended the no-hit bid. That would have been really impressive had Blanco be able to take that a little bit further. But I'll tell you what, he is on an impressive run right now. I don't think Blanco by any means is an elite pitcher, but I don't think that he is too shabby at all. I think he's a very solid pitcher, and he's on a really hot streak right now. I think the Rangers ran into that tonight. Sometimes you have these off nights with the bats. It just happens. We say it pretty much every time we go live, but, right on Rangers, we've said before, when you are playing a 162-game season, it's going to happen where you have these nights. It's going to happen where you don't hit the ball as well as you should have, and execute those pitches. So I think that you can chalk it up to just one of those nights for the Rangers tonight. Let's discuss though a couple of bright spots. So first of all, Dane Dunning. I think he really did a nice job settling down tonight. You gave up the 3-run homer to Alvarez. That is really, really tough having to face the top of that Houston order 3-4 times. I think Dunning was going through a 4th time in the lineup before finally they pulled him out. But having to face Alvarez 3 different times, it's going to be tough. And Altuve had Dunning's number most of the night as well. So I was impressed, though, how Dunning came back after that home run and really gave the Rangers a chance to stay in the game. You're not going to complain anytime you get a quality start. 6 innings plus, which Dunning gave you tonight, 6 innings plus, 3 earned runs. Really no complaints with Dunning at all. I think that he obviously would love to have that one pitch back, but it's going to happen in the course of a game. When your team scores 1 run or up to that point, 0 runs, there's not much you can do. But I don't think you can be mad at Dunning. Yeah, it sucks to give up the home run, but 6 innings plus pitch, 3 earned runs. And Dunning had really good stuff tonight. Honestly, the slider was filthy tonight. The ESPN guys were commenting and complimenting him many times on his stuff. The sinker was working really well tonight for Dunning. So back-to-back starts for Dane Dunning, really positive. Personally, I'm really pleased with what I've seen from him so far, and I hope it continues. He's a guy that gets a lot of ground balls, and he can strike out 7, 8 guys a night, depending on how far he goes. So Dane Dunning was definitely the bright spot tonight for the Rangers. Would have been nice if they could have came through in the 9th inning. Looked like we had a little something going. What a tough ask for Foscue there in the 9th inning. Coming in against Hader, one of the best relievers in the game. Tough ask for Foscue, but I'll tell you what, he really rose to the occasion. Had a great at-bat. I believe it was like a 7-pitch at-bat, which anytime you can get 6 pitches or more, even if you get an out, I say that's a quality at-bat. You're doing your job up there. And to come through with that nice ground ball through the middle, driving in a run, taking away the shutout from the Stros, that was huge. First major league hit comes in a moment like that off Josh Hader. That's impressive, man. You look back on that fondly. Josh Hader, from where he is at right now, moving forward, probably going to go down as one of the better relievers in the game. To say you got your first major league hit off Josh Hader, super, super impressive. I was really pleased that ESPN decided to do that on-field interview with Evan Carter, and I really enjoyed getting to hear from him. I've been able to catch a little bit of his off-season stuff. He's been doing some different collabs with some different social media people, and I really liked hearing from him. And one thing that he talked about that I wanted to comment on, just about the game of baseball as a whole. They were asking him a number of different questions. A bunch of fans asked him questions as well. He was talking about, playing in high school, and he was talking about, travel ball and the showcases and all that. And I really liked what he said. Basically, he said, if you're good at baseball, if you've been blessed with those abilities, you're going to get noticed. You don't need to spend thousands of dollars and tons of money and tons of time doing travel ball, doing showcases. Now, can those things help you be a better baseball player? 100%, right? Getting at bats, right? Getting game time, playing time. Absolutely, that can help you be a better baseball player. But honestly, in my experience, if you're good at baseball, you're getting noticed, right? It's a lot of the times I think guys that are on the fringe, right, that probably aren't major league talents, drowning themselves in travel ball and club ball and spending a lot of money, or their families or parents are spending a lot of money, and you're probably not going to make it to the major leagues anyways. So I liked what he said, and I'm a big believer in that as well. I think instead of sinking thousands of dollars into travel ball, into showcases and things like that, if you've got the natural talent, just let it show on the field, right? Play high school ball. Of course, you can be on a fall ball team or something like that, but some people spending tens of thousands of dollars on all these different things, baseball related, to try and get to that next level. What I found is there's only a certain amount of guys that have been blessed with the ability to throw even 90 plus miles an hour, right? I played baseball, high school, played a little bit in college. I could never throw at 90 miles an hour. Maybe from the outfield, like if I was crow hopping, and I could maybe touch 90, 91, I believe, but not from the pitching mound. From the pitching mound, I think I was probably mid 80s top speed. You don't have many guys that are blessed with the ability to throw 90 plus, let alone 95 plus. So if you've got that natural ability, it's going to get recognized eventually. I just like that from Evan Carter. And I think he's a really likable guy in general. So I've come to enjoy ESPN, the Sunday Night Baseball group, doing those on the field interviews. I think it's great for the game. And I think that it really opens up your eyes to some of these players that you probably don't get to know or hear from very often. So that was Evan Carter early on in the game. I think it was unfortunate that they ended up hitting the home run while he was on the field. Alvarez went deep, I believe, mid-interview. So that kind of sucked. You'd like to have Evan Carter out there with a little bit better circumstances getting interviewed, but it is what it is. Nothing that he can control, right? So let's keep going. We have a couple other things as well. We'll talk a little bit about the pitching matchup for tomorrow. But just going down the box score, tough night for some of the top of the order guys. I really felt like it just was not their day, like I said earlier. And I think that tomorrow's a new day. Those guys, I'm sure, will try and make some adjustments, watch some film, get back in the cage a little bit. But just wasn't the top of the orders night tonight. So let's take a look at the box score here, and let's see how we fared up and down. Simeon, Seager, Langford, all 0 for 4. So, right, anytime you're going 1, 2, 3 spots, 0 for 12, not great. Garcia got on base a couple of times. He had the hit, the single to break up the no-no, had a walk. And then Carter was on base once, went 0 for 2. Subbed out for Foscue late in the game, and we talked about Foscue's first major league hit So outstanding to see that moment from him. Wish it could have led to something more when Zeke Duran came up. I thought, okay, maybe we got a shot here. Maybe we got something cooking here. But it wasn't meant to be. Bregman made a great play. I think Zeke actually hit the ball pretty hard. I'd love to see the exit velo. Usually I write it down, but I didn't write it down for Zeke. Probably at least 90, 95 miles an hour on the ground, kind of short hop Bregman a little bit. And he made a great play, picked it, fired it off to Altuve. Then Abreu made a great play, picking up Altuve on the bad throw. So it just wasn't meant to be for the Rangers tonight. Astros just made more plays, made some better at bats and plays down the stretch, and it was the difference in the game tonight. So we definitely will look to bounce back tomorrow. We got Andrew Heaney throwing, had a great first start, took the loss. It was one of those games, I think, against the Rays where it was real close late, like, 1-1, 2-1. And then the Rays kind of opened it up. Rodriguez came in, first or second batter, hit a 3-run homer right after they took out Heaney. It is what it is. So Heaney looked really sharp in the first start. And looking at some of the career numbers against Heaney, looks like Altuve's hit him pretty well, 324 average career. Bregman has hit him pretty well, 314. Alvarez actually no homers, no RBIs, and 14 at bats. So good to see that, the lefty on lefty matchup. And then you got a couple other guys with some limited at bats against him. Pena's hit him pretty well, 429 average. McCormick 286. So look, as a whole, I think that he matches up pretty well with some of the best Astros hitters. Tucker hitting 100 against him. We talked about Alvarez already. If you can get those two guys in check, keep them in check, you can live with the Altuve singles and base hits here and there. It's really keeping Alvarez, keeping Tucker in check. Those two guys are the main guys I'm concerned about moving forward. So hopefully the Rangers can get that series win tomorrow. That would be huge. And looking on the other side, we've got Valdez throwing tomorrow, who the Rangers actually hit pretty well in the postseason. So we'll see if that continues. Looking at the Rangers numbers against Valdez, Jared Walsh has hit him very well, which surprises me because that's a lefty on lefty matchup. I wonder if they're going to let Jared Walsh hit against him. They've kind of been doing the lefty versus righty thing with Jared Walsh. Hey, if a righty's pitching, you're going to start. With how well he's been swinging the bat, though, the 7-game hitting streak did come to an end tonight, but maybe they'll let him hit, seeing that he's batting .417 off Valdez in his career. Maybe, though, they give him the off day and give Duran a shot at it so they can get that lefty-righty matchup. We'll see what happens, see what Bochy wants to do. I'm kind of curious to see what the lineup is going to look like tomorrow in general. You had the Thursday day off. Maybe we'll see all the starters tomorrow. Maybe it's an opportunity to get some guys a rest day. I'm not sure what the Rangers' schedule is like on Tuesday, if there's an off day on that day or not. I'll check it out real quick. But I think we play the A's next. So maybe it's a Tuesday day off, or maybe we go straight to playing the A's. We'll see what the schedule says. I'm going to take a look real quick. So A's coming up next. I think Lorenzen is going to be making a start in one of the first couple of games against them. So hopefully we'll get a good look at Lorenzen. Hopefully he'll be sharp. He's been doing some minor league stuff, I think, rehabbing an injury. Looks like, let me take a look here. Today's the 7th. Yeah, it looks like the 9th. We're playing the A's at home right away. So we'll get right into that series Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So that should be good. Hopefully a chance for the Rangers to get some wins. Never take the A's for granted. Anything can happen in baseball. Just when you think you're playing a team that is terrible or subpar, that's when you end up getting beat. And I think in Oakland, just for whatever reason in my mind, the past 10 years being a Rangers fan, it seems like we always would go to Oakland and struggle. So I think we're at home for this series, but it seems like in the past few years, Oakland has kind of been hit or miss for us. I feel like, yes, there's been some moments where we swept them, but there's some moments where they've given us some trouble. So hopefully nobody's taking Oakland for granted, but we can get another series win there. Good we could at least split with the Astros right now. Would love to be getting the series win. next time we go out tomorrow night, we'll see what happens. So looking back to the numbers against Valdez, we talked about Walsh. Tavares has actually hit Valdez really well. We've talked about Leote's numbers against lefty starters, hitting over 300 last year. I'm sure Leote will get back in the mix. Looks like beyond that, though, not a lot of guys with numbers against Valdez in the regular season. Like I said, I think the Rangers hit Valdez pretty well in the postseason in the ALCS last year. So we'll see if there's some carryover there, too. Beyond that, guys, a couple of other things. We'll do some bonus content, a couple other things in the world of sports that I want to get to. But I know some of y'all probably saw the reel I posted earlier today. Not the one about our system betting 1 cent for every Facebook follower, but I sent out a reel about something I talked about in the live last night, which is the MLBPA talking about how the pitch clock has been causing some injuries this season. And essentially what I said is, and I want to reiterate and kind of expand on a couple of things. What I said is, when you've got an era right now in baseball where velocity is at a premium, right, you are going to get guys who are going to be overthrowing and overexerting themselves to hit that velocity, whether it's guys in the minor leagues that are trying to make an impression, whether it's guys in the major leagues that are trying to maintain their position on the major league club. You're going to have guys that are overthrowing at times to maintain and keep their velocity up in the upper 90s and triple digits, depending on the guy. So I think that really more than the pitch clock, it's this overemphasis in my mind on velocity right now. You do have some guys in the majors that are kind of that Greg Maddux style. I think of a guy like Cody Bradford, although he's not right-handed like Maddux. Cody Bradford's kind of a paint the corners guy, throws low 90s. He's what I would call like an actual pitcher, right? But you've got some guys coming up now that are just throwers of the baseball. They throw really hard. They're not particularly artists when it comes to their craft of pitching. They just throw it really hard. You give them one off-speed pitch, and it's hard for major league hitters to keep up with and adjust to. You only have so much time when you're up there in the box to react. I think that MLBPA is obviously going to bat for the players. So the players, I don't know if all of them feel this way, but I think there are a solid handful of players that don't like the pitch clock. So, of course, MLBPA is going to use whatever they can to get what they want for the players. So that makes sense. I think that's really more what this is than anything. There's not a lot of research out on whether or not the pitch clock has caused these types of injuries. Don't know if there's going to be, but I will say more than anything, I think it's guys overthrowing, trying to maintain maximum velocity, upper 90s, hitting those triple digits, and this is what you get. You look at a lot of the guys that have injuries this season, okay, maybe besides Bieber, he's kind of a mid-90s guy, 95, 94, Bieber for the Guardians, that is. But look at DeGrom. DeGrom is 99, 100, 101, 102 at times, and he had Tommy John surgery last year. You look at Yuri Perez for the Marlins. He just had an elbow problem, going to have surgery. He throws 98, 99, 100. And you look at other guys, too, who are having this issue. Strider for the Braves, he throws 99, 100 consistently. It's a lot of guys who have very, very live arms, 98, 99, 100 plus. And for me, it's not a coincidence. I don't think it has a lot to do with the pitch clock. I think it has a lot to do with throwing really hard for long periods of time, starters, right? Throwing 90 plus pitches every time and having to exert maximum effort to achieve maximum velocity. So that's my continued take on MLBPA coming out and making a big deal about the pitch clock. Now, let's go ahead and talk through some bonus content. Don't know how many of y'all watched the Mavs game right before the Rangers game came on. What a game. That Houston little rivalry, do we want to call it a rivalry yet? I don't know. But it was good to see the Mavs pull off a win tonight, especially with Exum hitting that 3 ball to force overtime. And then you got Kyrie with, what do you have, 48 points tonight? Luka with 37. It was just a fun game to watch, right? A lot of points in this one, but that's kind of today's NBA, honestly, right? But it was great to see the Mavs beat the Rockets. Wasn't looking very good in the first half. I was a little bit worried, but the Mavs are really winning some games here down the stretch. I don't know what the number is now, but last 15 games, it feels like there's maybe been, 2 losses, right? 13-2, something like that. I mean, if somebody knows for sure, put it in the comments, but I mean, it's got to be like 13 wins in 15 games or creeping up to it, something like that. So great to see the Mavs at the end of the season here catching stride. You never know what's going to happen in the playoffs, and hopefully the Mavs can avoid the play-in, looking like they're going to have a good shot to do so. But anytime you get matched up in a 7-game series in the playoffs, a lot of it has to do with just that, how you match up against the other team. So we'll see who the Mavs get first round. But anytime you're closing out the season strong, for me, that's getting hot at the right time. And we all know the Rangers, I think, are a perfect example. When you can get hot at just the right time, it doesn't matter if you're the best team on paper or not. I don't think the Rangers last year were the best team on paper in that postseason. I mean, they were a good team, but I don't think anybody had them going to the World Series and winning it. But the Rangers got hot at just the right time. The bullpen all came together. The bats were hot, and it all worked. But sometimes you go cold in the postseason, even if you're a really outstanding team in the regular season. So we'll see if what the Mavs are doing right now can carry on into the postseason. April is a really fun month of sports, right? You got NBA. You kind of have the NCAA tournament closing out. You got baseball starting up brand new. Hockey, for me, guys, obviously keep my eye on the Stars, but living out here in Vegas, I do support the Golden Knights. Hard not to. I've lived here for a long time now, so expansion team. I do love the Knights, but love keeping my eye on the Stars too. So NHL playoffs are starting soon. It's a great time of the year for sports in general right now. And for DFW sports too. Right? Pretty much everybody right now, DFW sports is good. I mean, Cowboys have their issues. We'll talk more about that maybe in the summertime around draft time. That's kind of when I pick back up usually with NFL talk. Take a little break once baseball and March Madness and everything get going. But everybody DFW sports right now is really pretty competitive, right? The Stars are good right now, probably going to be playoff bound for sure. I don't know exactly where they're at in the standings, but last time I checked, playoff bound. Cowboys made the playoffs, Rangers, World Series champs. It's good to see. It really is. I love it. So happy for all the DFW sports fans. And really feel like going back to Kyrie and Luka and going off this comment from Scott right here. Yeah, I think Kyrie Luka is the best duo in the league. I mean, obviously, just shot creation in general, I think they blow everybody out of the water. I mean, name me a better duo that can create shots for themselves, but also include teammates, get teammates going. Luka, we all know, is great at that, but Kyrie can do it too. I don't think there's any question. I would argue that to the death. Kyrie, Luka, best duo in the league. So I'm excited to see what they do in the playoffs. We all know how last year came to an end. And there was a lot of noise about Kyrie and Luka. Would it be able to work? Would it be something that was going to lead to success in the playoffs or even a championship? Don't want to get ahead of ourselves. But I think that the Mavs were right all along. It's easy to say this, I know, after the fact, but I really did always feel confident. I'm sure I could scroll back to some of my videos, post them back up, that this was going to be a good tandem. I mean, you think about how Kyrie and LeBron worked when they were in Cleveland. I see that connection being very similar to what Luka and to what Kyrie have right now in Dallas. I mean, Luka is a big body. He can definitely take over a game and score it. But like LeBron, Luka is a great passer. His vision is incredible on the court. And you got Kyrie that can provide you with good spot-up shooting, but can also take over a game as well when Luka needs a break, when Luka goes to the bench, or if for whatever reason Luka doesn't have it that night. So I think that this was always going to be a great pairing. Don't know if it's going to lead to another championship, but I sure hope it does. I'm excited, though, to see how the Mavs fare moving forward. And I think that it's going to be a fun April of not just baseball, but NBA postseason getting started as well. I'll definitely take a look at what the Mavs odds are. Pretty much every postseason, I love to put down a long shot bet on one of my teams to win it. We'll see what the Mavs are ranked for the futures. Hopefully, we'll get a double-digit number, kind of like we did with the Rangers last year. I know some of y'all know last year the Rangers were 50-1, 50-1 odds to win the World Series. Threw $20 down on it, and $1,000 later, World Series champions. So I like to do that with the Mavs and with some of the other teams I love too. So we'll see what their odds are as it gets closer to the postseason. Beyond that, what do we have beyond Mavs today? We had the women's championship, South Carolina winning. Look, great team. That was a pretty great game. I think probably one of the first times, I think a lot of people are saying this, one of the first times I've really watched some games in the women's tournament. I'm not going to lie. But I think Caitlin Clark was a big part of that. So I think that she's clearly going to go on to do some great things in the NBA. But that was a fun game, and it was fun watching that journey. I'm just looking at some of the comments now. Albert, sorry, buddy. Sorry, big DFW sports fan right here. But that's okay. My grandparents, actually, they were big Spurs fans, so I know it's kind of a rivalry, or at least it has been in the past. I think about the Dirk years, the Tim Duncan years, Spurs and Mavs. I think that was a pretty big rivalry. Don't know if it really is right now with where the Spurs are at, but I think they're going to get better and better, especially with Wemby and then probably having a high draft pick this year. But I still keep my eye on the Spurs. Like I said, family ties there. If they play the Mavs, clearly I want the Mavs to win. But if it's all the same, I don't mind the Spurs doing well. Now, just a couple other things, guys. Tomorrow, probably have a reel out in the morning, late morning, early afternoon, previewing the game, giving you the update on the system, all that stuff. I want to say thank you. We got a few new followers on the Facebook page and really across all socials. So really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for the support, just the views, the comments, the likes, the shares, all that stuff means a lot. We started this like a year and a half ago, and really all I wanted to do is just talk sports with good people. And that's what I've found so far in this whole experience. So thank you. Much appreciated. So video out tomorrow, probably a couple. I'll probably cut something from the live here as well. But we'll try and get on live after the game. I'm going to try and do that almost after every game that I can, unless I'm traveling or on the road or something. Just gives everybody a place to hang out, talk Rangers, talk things going on in sports. So thank you so much, guys. And as I always say, God bless and go Rangers. Hope y'all have a great week ahead. Bye now.